take all of that, mix it all together, and how we turned out to be this year, we came in 3,011 out of 17,857 schools nationally, which puts us in the top 17% of all schools across the country, which is very good. Out of the 650 schools in Michigan, we came in at 106, which is, again, about 16%. So at least we're staying consistent. And we were number one in Lenawee County, which is always expected. We love these numbers. We think they're good. They're great numbers, but we're not satisfied with them. We want to break. We think in 2 years we can break 100, the top 100 in the state of Michigan, and that's our goal. To do that, and I think it's very, very good at this point. So staff is really working towards identifying those things that we need to make happen, and that's what we're going to do. So, they do this not only for colleges, but also the high schools, and to finish this high is it's a high comment to what we do here. So I'm proud of that. Good job with our teachers and kids.
Yeah, for sure. We discussed it a little last time, but it's nice to have the official numbers. And I think I said last time, that those types of ratings don't come by accident. They come through hard work, right? And that's just, at least this crew, most of these people sitting over here have a lot to do that as well as yourself. So thanks for all the hard work, and thanks for the students for participating as well. Any other comment on that, Rick?
No, well, we're just we're very like Dennis said, we're very happy with that rating, but never satisfied, and always trying to push ourselves even higher in that list. And congratulations to the staff at the high school, and I know that you'll meet that goal. Thanks, Dennis.
Okay, next on the agenda is an update from Mrs. Garner on the homeless mat project.
Over the past year, when we first started this project, we had Phyllis Velo and Teresa Bates. They were the ones that went to Mrs. Tomlin last year, and we told them that we were going to make 10 homeless mats for them. Well, March 13th came around and I lost all my help. Well, I mean, my volunteers. I mean, the students that really wanted to do. I mean, yes. So we lost all that from March 13th. So I kept continuing collecting the bags and bringing them home and doing it, whatever. We just finished our 10 bags. The only downside that we did not get was we did not get our little straps done, because I don't know how to crochet, knit, I don't know what you guys call it. You guys, they tried to give me a speed round on it. I couldn't do it. So over that time frame, I had one group of kids last year that worked all the time. Every time they had a chance, they came in and helped me out. This year I had another crew, and those crews back there, here are my helpers. We had, well, May Maxon's not here, Aubrey Dower, Jazzy Rowe, and Carissa Reed. I cannot tell you how many mornings they would come in for my homeroom or even before class or whatever. And I'd say, help, you guys want to help weed? Do whatever. They'd have a break. They'd come in. They'd help weed. Keep going. Now, there's a couple of them in that group, and I won't mention any names, Jazzy. And we had Grant Simpson from very beginning, nonstop, has been by my side for this entire project. You guys probably go out and see his face. You would remember him also. But he has never, ever stopped trying to help us achieve our goal. As you can see here, there's quite a few plastic bags that went into these mats. And I'm very excited to give these to you because now I have my counter back in the classroom. I mean, just imagine this spread out. And these guys know all the bags everywhere. But those three ladies, Jazzy, we called her my dream crusher. Who else helped her? were you, Chris? All three of you guys are pretty much my dream crushers because I get on the loom and I was like, okay, I'm ready to take it off. I said, can you guys go ahead and take it off? They go and smash it down. Like, no, we can go a little bit farther. Yeah, Mrs. Garner, like, no. I can't tell you how many times those three crushed all my dreams. I was like, okay, I got this one done. Boom. No, they smashed it. You guys know what I'm talking about. They smashed it down. I keep weaving. But we finally completed our goal. Ladies, I am very happy to give you these 10 mats. We committed to 10. We finished it up thanks to these guys and a couple of others that helped tirelessly. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times they came in early to help out with these mats to get it done.
We can't tell you how much we appreciate this, because last year we took 24. The Country Church of the Nazarene ladies is fantastic. The lady that did most of us had some problems, so she's not able to do them this year. These will make us look a lot better because we're already about two done right now. And I think they have 203rd right now. So this 10 will make it look so much better when we get ready to get back to the fall. Thank you so much.
And a little side note too, I tried, like, oh, I was gonna say, bless my husband's heart. How many trips, anytime we go someplace, I love bags in my car, be cutting them and weeding, but anytime we go someplace. So I do have two little corn balls, you guys know what they're all about, that they're pretty tight, so there's a lot of bags on these. So if you guys can find your crocheters, and get that all taken care of. But there you go, ladies. Ladies, thank you very, very much. I would,
To say, so you know where they're going, we took them up to the east side of the mission. And they actually come out and, the homeless people actually come out and get them right from our cars. And they like these bags because, one thing, they're water resistant and they're bug resistant. And you can just roll them up and with the handle, what Phyllis is gonna show you, you can just carry them around. But to make these, it actually
if you wanted
takes
to feel.
over
like it's
1,000 bags.
cement
and
it
then
helps
one bag
protect, you know,
with the
it's
hands.
not so cool from the
So
snow,
all these,
because it gives a little bit.
students have really done a lot of work. We appreciate
Looks like
it.
she's got 11 on there. I think she's giving you extra one.
No, they gave me one for a demo and said I could count it as my 10. And I was like, nope, I committed
You
to
got
10,
good
we're gonna
ears.
get 10. So we got it all done for you. Some of you guys have seen at the beginning when we started with me and Mary, we were buried. I mean, it was to my ceiling with plastic bags.
How many
See, that's
people
what they mean.
like,
She made
would
it
drop off bags
Yeah,
at your house or whatever, or how many kids would bring it in, and you did, I know that the kids had to do math, because there isn't any project you can take on that doesn't have a lot of really interesting
It's
detail,
good
man.
work.
Those of you, as Mrs. Belo's coming around, you might recognize her name. She is also Twain Belo, who played for the Tigers, his mother.
Oh.
So you might remember Twain if you're a Tiger fan.
Very cool. So if you still have plastic bags, I'm not gonna say no to them, because I'm gonna keep, I've got 3 looms, I'm gonna keep, it's almost stress relief once I get it going. So I'm gonna keep going. I just think it's a great project, and I thank you guys for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
No, outstanding.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Drop bags on the west.
Let's give them another round of applause. All right, I believe, is that all the good news?
That is it.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. That's a great piece of news. So next on the agenda, do we have any public comment on agenda items? Again, just in case you didn't hear, that's now do we have any public comment on agenda items? No. Okay. Thank you. Do we have any revisions on the agenda? I don't know of any. And so I will accept the motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda for May 24th, 2021.
Second.
Been, motion's been made and seconded to approve today's agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda's approved. All right, scheduled reports. Start off with the financial reports. Mrs. Glenn.
So good evening, board. In your board packet are several financial reports for the month of April 2021. Cash on hand as of April 30th for all bank accounts for the district are $6,145,369.01. Accounts payable checks out the door for the month of April was $1,098,037. Total revenue from July 1st through April 30th, again, all funds, $25,430,259.69. Total expenditures for that same time period is $26,054,693.80. Also included in your packet is the revenue comparative and expenditure comparative from 2021 versus 2020. At this time, does the board have any questions? Mr. Simpson did have a few questions right before the board meeting regarding a couple items that were on the check register. Superintendent Hillary did send the response out. You may now have had an opportunity to look at that. But to answer the rest of those questions, Mr. Simpson asked who Trafera was and why did we spend $301,446 in the month of April. Trafera is, actually I should say, Firefly Computers is now doing business as Trafera, and the $301,000 payment reflects 500 Chromebooks, 500 Chromebook licenses, 500 Chromebook cases, and 194 HP Chromebooks. This entire payment was utilizing funds either from our CRF, which is a federal grant, or ESSER funds, which is also federal funds. Mr. Simpson questioned the Service 2.0 payments. There was two payments for the month, one for $73,720 and the second one for $51,090. Both those were payments reflect primarily payments for the bipolar island ionization that was completed at Compass and high school. And the balance of the payments was just for preventive maintenance or repairs. Again, this bipolar ionization project was invoiced as units were completed and was funded out of CRF grant. Arson Consulting, there was a question on what that consulting group provided for the district. They provided 12 hours of principal training regarding Danielson framework, and it was funded out of Title II. A couple additional questions regarding building and ground information. Regarding to the RFPs that are in the packet this evening. Were there any packet pictures of the concrete being replaced at the bus garage? Currently, there are no pictures of the damage there or the condition. However, we can get those to the board if you desire. And then finally, the last question, were the cabinets bids a sealed bid since they were over the dollar threshold? And then why weren't any cabinet companies included? So the district is not actually replacing all cabinets at Hare Park. We're merely replacing cabinetry in 2 rooms, which is now one great big joint classroom. The estimated cost of the project when we went out for quotes was to be under the bid threshold, and the current bid threshold for this year is $25,288. So per board policy, since it was less than the bid threshold, but greater than 50% of this amount, we got 3 competitive quotes. But 2 of those quotes did come in under the bid threshold. 1 quote was greater than the bid threshold. All these quotes were from local vendors here in Illinois County. And the board, and we are recommending to the board that we select the lowest cost vendor, in this case, Integrity Construction Projects. And we did not request any quotes from cabinet group companies because it's a non-standard design. These are custom designs to match the existing cabinetry in the building.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, very good. We will have a update from trustee Lewis on the facilities and ground meeting of 5/19.
Okay, we had a facilities and meeting on the 19th. It was attended by Tom Hawkins, Vice President Davis, Mr. Hilderly, and myself. It started out with two major topics. One was the RFP that's in process for that was the ESG proposal to try and save some money by improving our facilities so that we don't have leaky faucets, wasted water, improve our energy efficiency by updating our HVAC units and our boilers. That is in the process right now. I think the RFP comes off at the beginning of next week, correct? Or the first week in June.
It's a June, June 1st.
So that's when that expires, and when that'll be brought to us for a decision at that time. Recommendation from Kelly and Rick at that time for us to act on. The other thing that we had that we talked about was the move and how that's being timed out. And Tom Hawkins was there. He has things detailed. Second time's a charm, right, Tom? Going through it. He has. We know we have teachers will be notified of the day that they're actually having their belongings moved into each classroom. The only thing that could maybe throw a monkey wrench in that's whether what we could possibly get ahead, in the process. But it's well planned, and I think the execution is just a matter of time. And we haven't had any rain for the last 3 months. It'll probably rain 3 times a week when we get ready to do it. That's just kind of the way it works. But we'll get through it. We'll get it done. We'll get it done in a timely way. And the last thing we talked about was playground equipment. A lot of our playground equipment that was moved in the past reorganization, F&S Landscape does not want to move again because of liability concerns. So that probably throws a monkey wrench at us. I've not seen the numbers that we discussed them, and it was just rough discussion of numbers, but that could be substantially more expensive if we have to buy all the new equipment. Was there anything else that I had missed in there?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay. Tom, anything from you?
No, I'd like to apologize for not coming. I was out of town the week prior, and I would have requested in the future maybe somebody call me and let me know that it's a kind of a quick thing. I never responded, but I kind of saw the email, but I didn't think it was the next day. I thought it was like a week later maybe or something. And so maybe in the future, if a quick one like that, somebody call me. Neighbor.
No problem.
Okay.
So Greg, I have a question. So in regards to playground equipment, have we received or have we asked for like any recommendations or information on how much, if we were to buy new, what that would cost?
I would defer that to Mr. Hillary and Mr. Hawkins, honestly, because they're the ones that would look at the numbers at that.
Depending on the size of those structures, we're primarily talking about the playgrounds at what will be the 3-4 buildings, Herrick Park and Patterson. When they became STEAM centers, the age-appropriate elementary equipment was removed and taken to the Compass campus. That is not equipment that we can get removed a second time. So putting structures in both of those places for the equipment is probably $20,000 to $25,000 per apparatus, and then the installation cost.
What was the reason why we can't move it again?
I'll let you talk to Craig.
Right. We don't have the ability to move it ourselves. F&S moved it for us last time. And anytime playground equipment is moved, the recommendation is not to move it twice.
Why?
Because of, as Mr. Lewis mentioned, liability concerns for equipment that may be faulty or installation that maybe wasn't complete. And if anybody gets hurt on a piece of equipment that wasn't installed properly, then the fault would lie with not only the district, but the installation.
So, but if they moved it once without doing it wrong, I mean, I guess I don't get it.
They're not willing to do it,
Okay.
and we don't have
I mean,
the
is it
ability to do
something
it.
structurally that when you start moving this stuff and you dig it up and,
Correct.
Probably it's pretty standard welding on those.
well, I mean, probably
equipment
isn't
and
an
that,
answer.
so.
but I was just wondering what the,
Yeah.
So I guess, and
Tom can
maybe
try.
Mr. Hawkins can answer this. So if FS won't do it, do we have any other ideas on someone who won't, or do you recommend we not?
we
do
can
that?
discuss it at the next facility meeting too.
Okay.
I just was wondering exactly why.
I mean, they've said that they don't want to do it, they don't want to take on liability, but it's like anything, you take it apart, put it back together, take it apart, put it back together. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna fit the same, it's just really rough on the equipment. You get concrete, you got busted concrete.
Okay, yeah, see that's why I was wondering. There's structural reasons.
Yeah, it's rough on it, so, so there's some damages to it when you're moving it, you have to take that into consideration, so after doing it 2 times, they don't want to.
It's been moved twice.
What's that?
It's been moved twice.
Well, they don't want to do it more. than-
Oh, they don't want to do it.
Right.
Okay. I thought you meant after doing it 2
It's
times.
been assembled twice, once originally, and now
Yeah.
the second time.
That,
Okay, well, we'll talk
I
about that
mean,
more. in
this
the
could, I mean,
next
this, I
meeting.
think what you're thinking probably is this could have a big impact on our budget.
Well,
And the budget's due the end of the month, end of June.
not only that, but with future plans, we need to think about how much we want to spend now versus what our options will be later.
Right.
So I think that perhaps a joint budget and facilities meeting is in order.
I would guess we'd want some numbers before we did that though, right?
Yeah, I think we need to get together and try to figure
That
out
would
what
have
the
to be
cost
a-
would be and what.
That would have to be a
For
board
different
meeting though, right?
options.
Because
It would
you're
have
gonna
to be
go-
a special board
Right,
meeting
it's
because
gonna
we would
go
have
outside
more
the
than,
quorum.
Yeah.
more than 3 members between the 2 panels.
So the facilities should probably work on, the cost and what options we have as far as toning it down or going whole hog or,
Mhm.
but like Becky said, future plans and,
Right.
but we can always phase it too. We could plan on doing a little this year and a little next year and
Yeah, I guess we'd have to, I don't know if there's a recommendation of what the minimum we need is. I mean, so,
Well, and it's going to be a different, so the building before Herrick Park was K through 2nd. Now it's going to be 3rd and 4th, so there was going
Right,
to be
that makes a
changes
difference too, right?
regardless, but yeah, let's give some more thought on how to do that. Do it right.
all right, any other questions for Mr. Lewis? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Next
Greg.
on the agenda is Project Lead the Way, PLTW. I think we have Aaron Stamper and John Way.
Yeah, thank you, board, for giving us this opportunity to present to you tonight. You'll be able to find most of our information in your board packet, so thank you, Terry, for getting that in there. And yes, I'm John Way. This is Aaron Stamper, and we head up the Project Lead the Way program at the middle school. For those of you that don't know, Project Lead the Way is a nonprofit organization that offers STEM curricula to pre-K through 12th grade. And we apply for a grant, receive it each year through the ISD. And now, Mrs. Stamper, I'd like to present a little bit about what we were able to offer this year for our classes.
Hi, everyone. So in your packet, I'm looking at the second chart on the page. So you can see the total number of students enrolled. Our 5th and 6th grade numbers are a little inaccurate. We think that the numbers given to us were the in-person students, not total number. And then you can see in 7th grade, we had 193 students, 8th grade, 176. And then there's your total number for 9 through 12. Participating at the 7th grade level were 78 students. And so that accounted for 40% of our population. And we're really proud of that number, given the circumstances that we had this year with COVID. And then again, at the 8th grade, we saw 22 students participate, and that number seems a lot lower than what we did at 7th grade. And that's simply logistics of the programming that was offered. Because the 8th grade looped this year, all of their classes were predominantly taught as 7th graders. And so there was only one option for a class this year for based on teacher certification. You can see again then at the bottom that we've got 40% participating at 7th grade, and 17 and a half at 8th grade. And we know that next year with our organization and planning that we're going to have significantly more students impacted by our program.
Yeah, and that's kind of our vision for the next chart. A little rough draft of a flow chart that we came up with for the pathways we wanted to offer the students. Now that we're going to be back to a middle school building 5 through 8. Again, with the classes that Mrs. Stamper and I are able to teach, we can hit a lot of different pathways. We hope to offer a computer science pathway, an engineering pathway, and then we'll say environmental medical science, biomedical science pathway. This will all start in the 5th grade with the launch program. So we're hoping to get trained in that program this summer. And that's another thing that Project Lead the Way offers and is supported by the grant is they pay for a lot of the trainings that not only Aaron and I can take, but also we can extend that out hopefully to the ELCs and the high school staff as well. So where we're hoping is that we can filter into the middle school from the ELCs and have their launch program underway in the next couple of years. And then we can start to provide pathways for our students that are now leaving the middle school and entering high school in either a field of computer science, engineering, or biomedical science. So that's kind of our vision for the next few years where we can get to. And I think it'll all kind of grow out from this gateway program that we can offer at the middle school. So we'll keep it short and simple tonight.
Thank you.
And
That was awesome.
like I said, next year we hope to have a lot more, as far as numbers. And I know Mr. McDowell used to be in here showing off robotics, and we hope to get back to that. It was just with the limitations this year, we were only able to offer a couple courses, with the equipment needs. But the one nice thing about Project Lead the Way is it always focuses on real world problems. And one of the projects that my students are finishing up with right now in App Creators is they're developing an app that will track and kind of keep a small database on flu patients of all things. So kind of fitting for the last year that we're coming from, but really neat program. We were trained in design and modeling this year. So that'll be another course that we're able to offer our middle school students next year. But again, just real world practices and problem solving. That's what it focuses on.
How many years has this been going on?
So this is my 4th year at Tecumseh. I've been teaching it for 8 years, Britton Deerfield prior to that. And like I said, Mr. McDowell, Brian McDowell, who left for the ISD, he was a big component of the Project Lead the Way prior to us.
So it's been going on quite a few years.
Yeah.
Yep. Then this is my 3rd year here in the district and my 3rd year teaching this.
Oh, good.
So
Yeah, right when we hired her in, we got her on Project Lead the
Roped
Way.
her right in. That was
Yep.
smart of you.
But yeah, the program itself has been going on for almost 25 years now.
Awesome.
So I have a couple questions. So these are in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade. These are electives that they can choose to be part of?
Correct. We'll be part of the MAPS. But are we going with MAPS or are we going to choose? Well,
it's part of those elective courses,
Yes.
named to be determined what we'll call those in the middle school. But yes, this will be part of that rotation.
And you have quite detail for the middle school, and then we do have, I think, 22 students heading to high school. So is there more detail for that? I mean, do we have extra teachers certified in the high school, or what's?
James Juan Savage right now is the high school teacher who's certified and teaching one course right now, Introduction to Engineering and Design. And again, that's our goal, is to kind of get, as we hire new teachers, even in the field of biology, because that'd be a good way to kind of get these students in, not only the biomedical, but also, something they're familiar with as a 9th grader, trained and certified for some of those courses and those pathways. But yeah.
So the class is really a engineering class now?
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Yep, the one that's currently offered. There are other options. We just don't have
Teachers
teachers
certified.
for
So
this.
do we expect to have any more certified? I'm kind of looking back to you and Dennis. I mean, what's the plan?
The money is there through the ISD. Again, out of the $6,000, Aaron and I have used $2,400 of it for this round of the grant, and we look to use a little bit more for some summer trainings this year. But the high school courses, they run about $2,200 to get a teacher trained. And a lot of these courses now are strictly online. They don't do that many on-site trainings anymore. That's been our last 3 trainings that we've done, strictly online. And they can run anywhere from 3-4 weeks if they want to cram them all into ours are about 8 to 9 weeks, meeting every day, and then on or maybe meeting once a week, and then little bit of homework on that. But yes, we would like to get some high school teachers trained, and we've even offered to maybe move up and be part of that high school
So-
staff if need be.
So we'd like to, but I'm guessing that a lot of these things are set for next year already, right? We have some huge momentum, especially in the 7th grade. 8th grade's a little less, but I think I've spoken several times. This kind of stuff is really important to me, and I think it's something that we need to push. So
Yeah, so even though the 8th grade numbers look small now, a majority of those students have had at least one course already. They had that in 7th grade, so they're familiar with the platform.
So
of
how do we
Project
get
Lead the
them,
Way.
how do we get them excited when they move on to high school if we have instructors there?
We have a plan for addressing the high school for next year. It's a staffing issue. We have an offer out, so I can't really make an announcement at this time, but we will have a program in place that will be part of the PLTW continuum. Probably be able to talk more about that at the June 14th meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with President Rotaro on this one. We can talk offline about why, but if we need real life engineers, or if we need real life medical technicians, or people to meet by Zoom with them or Google Meets or whatever to help them understand what a career is like, let's please let us know what resources you may need so that we can.
That's the other nice thing about the program is it does focus a lot on careers and giving them those opportunities. So, I mean, if we were to ask you for some help, I mean, put us in, contact with your connections, and we want to get these kids out there as much as possible. I know Mrs. Tomlin was always really good about, hosting those agriculture days and manufacturing days and getting us involved in that. And that's part of the grant program too, is, providing field trips like that. Next year, hopefully things are different. We can get out there more often and, get into the real world business and see what kind of technology they're using, so that when they see is all the stuff that they use is, it's real world. They're using Autodesk, Inventor, and stuff that architects will use in their profession. And this is what our kids are using, in 7th, 8th grade for their classes. So it's good stuff.
yeah,
So
we
we're proud of it.
we need to really figure out a way. And again, hopefully we get this done. But Vice President Davis, my career was spent in the industrial automation field, right? Engineering. I have contacts. The company I came from has a huge educational outreach program. I would love to help, and I know Ms. Davis has the same for her resources, and maybe some others that I'm not aware of. But this is really important, I think, to the school system. This is the kind of stuff that I think drives. Why are we better, right? And we absolutely need to continue with the momentum that you started. So thank you for that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Please also consider how to keep the young ladies in the district interested
Another thing
in
that Project Lead the Way
and-
focuses on, definitely getting women in engineering, and that's one thing that we hope to work with Lindsay a little bit more so on as we continue to boost our program. So yeah, that is the one thing that we report to the ISD for our yearly report, and our numbers in 7th grade were pretty even. Yep.
Good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate it.
Good work.
Okay, we'll move on to discussion items. First item listed here is the process and timeline for the open board seat. Want me to take this? Or?
Well, we do have a process that President Rebatero and I discussed as a possibility. The board had scheduled a board workshop for the 3rd of June. I think that the board would agree that it would be best to postpone the workshop until the time the 7th member was seated. But because that date is on people's calendars, I recommended, and Mr. Rebatero also suggested, using that evening as a special board meeting and inviting the candidates who apply for the board seat to come in and talk with the board. The board could make the selection that evening and then have a new board member seated by the June 14th meeting time. And then after the discussion a few minutes ago, we could also broaden that special meeting agenda to include budget and facility discussion about playground equipment or any other item that we wanted to discuss. So we're fortunate we have the date that everybody already sort of has reserved. We'll start the meeting at 6 p.m. With your approval and try to cover those topics.
How many people have applied?
So far, we have 3.
Who are they?
I think it's okay to, I guess it's public information. We have, well, I don't have my computer, and it's Mr. Peoples. I don't remember his first name, huh?
I don't think I know.
Then Mr. Madison and Mrs. Tomlin. I apologize for not remembering the first names.
Maybe you can email us.
Sure.
Thanks.
That means that the deadline would be just the day before on
Can
on
we do it?
Wednesday.
Can we do it? Can we do Tuesday?
Yeah. We
I
can
mean,
do
that
it.
at least gives everyone a day to read the
Okay, We
documents.
can set the deadline for end of the business on
June 1st.
June 1st. And then you'll have all the
I
information.
mean, we got a real
that
surge in the first day, and we haven't had any since. Now, maybe there will be more, but I mean, since the first day, we haven't had any. So we'll set the deadline for June 1st at the end of the workday, end of the business day, and
Sounds
then
good to me.
we'll come in 6 p.m. Go through the interview process, and then make a selection.
So I think the process and timeline are fine. My only concern is pushing a board retreat out too far after the 7th board person is seated. So, what's the outlook on the survey that we had about the date for the retreat?
The dates past June 3rd, there was not great consensus. So I'll put a few more dates in there and see if we can find one.
You never said anything out about a second date, right? I mean, I got that one Google, whatever it
Yeah,
was.
it's
some
called
little
it's called a
survey
doodle
thing.
poll.
Yeah. I called and left you a message about that,
Okay.
but,
I'll talk to you and we'll put your name in there and. figure
well, I
out
just want to
days
know
you're
what days I
available.
have to choose from.
Okay. It looked like weekday evenings, Tuesdays or Thursdays were better for folks, starting around 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Okay.
I mean, as long as I'm not out of town.
All right. Yeah, I'll send you a few dates and we'll,
Well, you'll send
Figure it
everyone,
out.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And then just one other question. When do we plan to vote on a treasurer?
I would expect we'll do that on the 14th.
Why didn't you vote on a treasurer?
John,
Well,
John- it was
Mr.
John.
Benzine's resignation.
So it's empty now.
Right.
So when we get the 7th member, we'll that evening.
You didn't wait for all the members the last time you voted. Why would you wait? Maybe we should vote today.
we don't have a person yet.
I wasn't there.
we need the 7th person.
You didn't wait for me.
We didn't vote on.
We did vote on members.
Yeah, they did with two
We
Right, that's
people.
right. It was.
people
She's
missing.
right. She's correct in her statement.
But I don't care. I mean, we can
I
wait.
mean, unless there's someone who wants to be treasurer here at the tables.
Not me. I'm good at math, though.
The last time we waited until the members were all seated. That's the only reason I said we would do the same this time. It's quite possible on the 14th, some people will be called out of town or have some other issues. But last time we did wait until the members were all at least seated.
Mhm. Okay.
If somebody feels strongly not to do it that way, I guess we can discuss it. But that's why I made the recommendation.
Well, yeah, but we did discuss it before, and it didn't end up that way. But some people did feel strongly. But it's okay. It's done, and they're voted on, and we'll move on to the next vote.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other discussion, any questions on that? I think we have a motion later to set that in stone. Next item are just kind of an update on the budgets.
Okay, I'll have Mrs. Glenn talk about the final budget for this school year, 2021, and then I'll talk a little bit about the process for the 2021-2022 budget, and where we are in the process. We certainly don't have a full budget recommendation at this point, and then Mrs. Glenn could answer any questions about that. So 2021 budget?
Great. So currently I'm in the process of revising the 2021 budget that will be presented to the board for the first time review on the 14th, voted on the 28th. It will be revision of all funds, not just the general fund. So we'll take a look at food service, community projects, which is the pool, capital projects, things of that nature. Sort of gathering data and taking a final look at the numbers and where we're going to come out. So I'll get those to you as soon as possible.
In terms of the budget for next year, we had one meeting of the budget committee and some proposals that included some additional expenditures and reduction as a result, and also as a result of the new blended count that will cause us to lose, potentially lose a number of students. After that conversation, the committee recommended a new budget proposal that would include an ending fund equity of at least 15%. So we have adjusted that. For instance, we were suggesting as many as 9 additional teaching positions to the budget. We have reduced that request down to 4. All, by the way, in the Project Lead the Way program. We would really like to extend that program K-12 and have an opportunity to do that with the staffing offer that I mentioned, and because of some other interested individuals in the elementary levels, being able to make that a continuous K-12 program. So we kept those 4 positions in the budget. We reworked some of the funding of some of the positions that we currently have using grant funding through the title program and through 31A, and came up with a budget that just slightly over 15% fund equity. We did that based on the loss of about 75 students that would show up in the new 90-10, well, I should say the new old 90-10 process as we move away from the super blend that was used this year. So we accounted for the loss in students as a result of the count, and then we based our budget on an increase of $180 per student in the per pupil allocation. Last week, the economic projection came out quite a lot better than the conference that was in January. So we're thinking now that revenue estimate may be a little low at 180, but we're contented at keeping the budget proposal at that level. And then if we're pleasantly surprised later on, we'll be able to either increase the fund equity or expand programming. So that's where we are in the process for the projected budget.
Obviously, this year's been a little different than some, but what is our current kindergarten roundup numbers versus our graduating seniors?
Mrs. Wade, kindergarten roundup numbers?
We're about, I would say about 170, 180.
Oh,
That's
that's pretty
rolling
good.
up the young 5, so very typical, very comparable to previous years.
And what was our graduating class?
Number of graduates this year, Mr. Niles? 242.
Is the 170 number, do we expect that to rise closer to this number, or what? I mean,
We haven't been over 200 in a while, I would say, but yes, we always get about 20 to 30 over the summer. Yep.
So we expect to be around 200 for incoming.
So then you accommodated for that loss?
Yes.
Good.
Kelly, have they given many details about the budget deal that came out of Lansing on Friday?
Not really. As Superintendent Hurley mentioned, the May revenue consensus the numbers came out phenomenal, way better than anyone ever anticipated. So there is a lot of excess funds available, not only in the school aid fund, but the general fund as well. And there was an agreement between the legislature and the governor actually to work cohesively on the budget together. That's great news. So actually, it may be things that the governor thought was important with her budget proposal versus the House and the Senate. Now there might be some consensus and some negotiations, which we may get. But one of the things in the governor's proposal was additional money for school districts who have declining enrollment. Tecumseh would be eligible for that if that was ultimately ended up in the state aid act. So there's a lot of money that now they have to decide how they want to divvy it up.
It sounded like there were more of the federal grant money too. Maybe the governor was ready to.
Right, there is also the supplementals still on the table that they have to come to consensus and allocate as well. You're correct.
There's a lot of money out there.
There is a lot of money.
A lot of money.
I have full confidence in my friend George, the legislative director.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I was just saying, my friend George is the legislative director, so I'll give him a good shout out for Tecumseh Schools and say, please work on school funding first. So,
Mrs. Brooks, you right now have a budget committee meeting scheduled for,
We don't. It was for June 3rd and it got trumped by the other meeting. So
okay. So now we may be back on. I guess it sounds like
it sounds like we're back on. So,
well, we'll do it as a board. If we do that.
Well-
Or you can do it afterwards as a committee.
Or you can do it another day,
let's,
and facilities can meet separately. It doesn't have to be,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
no.
It's up to you.
if we want to meet jointly, do we as facilities, I think to Suzanne's earlier point, do we need to move, here, I'll take this off so that
That's better.
do we, sorry about that. Do
Now I
we need
can
to
hear you.
meet together to give some proposals or? I think that was Mrs. Moore's comment, which I think is
Yeah,
a
I think we
valid
should
one.
meet with Tom.
Yeah.
And
kind
have
of-
a
so
facilities
that
meeting,
we're not
totally
kind of-
separate, right? And then we'll bring it to them with what our cost, and then
Yeah.
then we can talk openly at a board meeting about maybe how to phase it in or what to do.
So do you have a date for the next facility meeting?
No.
I currently have a budget committee meeting on the calendar for Wednesday, the 2nd at 5:45.
You're the only one that knows about it then.
Okay,
Can we get a calendar with like set meetings?
sure.
I mean, there must be a
You feel
regular
like-
schedule
You feel
kind
you
of.
need to have that then?
I don't know that I'm
You,
available.
you
that
should probably
day.
just wait
It
until
was-
we meet.
It was June 3rd.
Maybe we should take that spot.
Tony, my
I mean, I'm-
recommendation would be that the affected principals of those buildings know what they need. They get numbers from
Tom.
Superintendent Hilderly and Kelly
I'm
and what they
available
can
the 2nd.
spend, and then they work with Tom to come up with what's available. Because on the facility committee, I don't have any idea what the cost is of playground equipment. They get a budget, principals put in their dream sheet. These two sort it out with what money's available, and then the finance committee meets and says, "Yep, here's your final number." I mean, maybe that isn't the way to do it, but that would make sense to me, because I mean, if you don't give me a budget, I can build all kinds of good stuff or buy it.
Yeah, but we could look at
Okay.
as a group, we could look at with Tom,
Right.
principals could recommend what they want
Mhm.
or what they
Well, I
think they
guess-
need for that
And
age
both
group.
committees have VFC members on it, so that is helpful. So,
Yeah, I just wonder if, and I'm not super, up to speed on how the committees are working yet, but I've only been to one, but is there a need for this facilities committee to meet with Tom to look at options and then so that we can from the view of facilities and buildings.
That's doesn't matter to me. To me, it would be the principals are going to identify what they think they need at those buildings.
He's probably right about that.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
either
guess-
way.
I guess the thing that's most clear to me is that we need those numbers.
Right.
Right? So.
And
I
we
mean,
need options.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need this feedback from the building principals, Tom and yourself.
Correct.
And then, let's think about, I guess, your committee, Greg, and see if you want to get together and discuss it, see what they are. I mean,
Yep, yep.
And then, you'll have to give a recommendation to the.
Right.
To the budget team,
Okay.
all right?
Yep, sounds
So-
good to me.
I'd say high on the to-do list is, tell us what you
Playground
need.
equipment.
We'll work on that, have the information to the facility committee, and bring that information to the budget committee as soon as possible.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, keep moving. I'm gonna review the bids for the RFP for the concrete work at the bus garage.
Just a comment about that. We had two companies that made a bid on that project. One is from a non-local company that was a very large bid. The second one was from a local company for the much smaller number. However, the smaller number local company misread the process and was late on their bid. So in order to accept that bid, if that's the will of the board, you would have to suspend some board policy on accepting bids late. That's
Can't we just go out for a rebid?
part of it. Exactly.
That is an option as well.
I mean, it'd be easy
I think
because they've already
that's-
done the work.
Safer.
Just be a matter of resubmitting.
We could
That's probably the cleanest way from a
As you
construction
mentioned,
person's point of view.
Right.
rebid the project and
So it's cement? I was thinking it was blacktop over there.
It is now, I think, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Let's change it all to cement?
Eventually, this is just to cover the area where the buses are.
Okay.
Because they're in such poor condition.
What, is it half or a quarter or of the,
Probably a quarter.
okay.
I would feel better about just rebidding.
great. So under action items, then we would want to have the board take that action this evening so that we can get it reposted.
How are we sending these out for, how's the public being notified or these companies being notified that there's an opportunity to bid on this stuff?
I can't hear you either.
How,
better.
how is the, how are people finding out about these bids? I
Yeah, we only
guess?
got two?
Yeah.
It seems odd.
The bid process on this project,
So it was advertised in the local paper, obviously, and then it was also put on the state website, Bedford, Michigan, where all vendors are very familiar with that process, and if they're interested, the information is out there and available.
right?
Did-
There are lots of ways to bid projects for schools. That's the one that catches most of the fish.
I guess I would also like to see maybe us being a little bit more proactive, considering we only got two bids.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
send something direct to,
There's a
Local
lot of
people.
concrete contractors around this area,
Mm-hmm.
and that maybe we should be sending this to companies that we know
I agree.
in the area. Because the one company I think was from Plymouth or
Farmington
Livonia or
or
something. if I remember.
Livonia, I think.
And I don't, never heard
Yeah,
of it.
Livonia.
So I'd rather, if
Yeah.
we're gonna give out this, spend this kind of money, I'd rather
Yeah.
do it locally if we
I
can, of
agree.
course.
Right.
But,
Okay,
but I'd like to see that happen where we can, there's a lot
It
of,
should be pretty easy to find the top concrete companies in,
just call City Hall, they know.
Are there
this
any,
area.
are there any rules or guidelines we have to follow due to the amount of bid related to how we solicit for the RFP?
actually, the only requirement is that it be posted in at least one local newspaper.
Okay.
So we met that requirement. We always put things on the state bid site, and now we'll do some direct contact as well.
Yeah, I mean, the second non-local company is a very large.
Yeah.
very large.
I feel like they
construction
maybe misread the something.
Right. With that disparity,
Right,
you
it's
you
huge.
wonder.
Right.
And it could have just been throwing darts and saying, well, if we get it, we get it. And,
Right.
You know, I mean, a lot of that happens too. So
Yeah.
a lot of people are busy right now, so they'll throw a number at you, and if they get it, if they get it.
Or they can't get people to work to do the work.
Yeah, that's true too.
So we need to put an action item to,
I already read it.
what's that?
I
Oh, you
wrote a
wrote it?
motion. Yeah.
So do we do that now?
No, we can add it to the action items,
Get that.
just for board direction on that.
All right. All right, continuing learning plan.
Board has not met since the change in health department order about quarantine. So that's the only change to our continuity of learning plan. We are no longer requiring quarantine for close contacts to positives within the school, which for us is a major change. But that is now part of our continuity of learning plan, and we've been operating under that for about 3 weeks. But per the order and requirement, the board needs to confirm that that is now part of the CLP.
We seen any increase in case rates or anything by not quarantining?
No, actually, we are now, shouldn't even mention it, I think. I'm gonna knock wood. None of our buildings are on the outbreak list statewide. All of the buildings. And I will say, I had 2 conversations with the health department last week to further explain some of the differences of our buildings. And that conversation helped remove the Compass building from the list. Just explaining more about the layout and who shares hallways and who doesn't and how much they interact and the schedule of the building. So having those conversations with the health department has been very helpful for them and now for us as well, because that building came off the outbreak list ahead of schedule as a result. But no more quarantine required. We still, when we make those phone calls, we tell them that they have the option to quarantine and test and so on. But no, our case rates are still very, very low. 2 out of 167 as of last month. We had 2 cases that grew out of another case in our facility, out of 167 positive cases through the year.
And I know, something we get a lot of feedback from the public on are the masks.
Right. And my Sunday announcement, I verified with families that the CDC is still suggesting that school districts follow the protocols that they've had in place all year as it comes to safety standards, masks, distancing, cleaning, hand sanitizing and washing, directional hallways, all of the things we've been in place. And that's primarily because we do not have vaccine all the way down through all school age students. And we
Yeah, but
don't,
they don't even get it. I mean,
regardless of the
there's no
infection
mandatory
rates.
vaccines, so
Nope. But as of now, the CDC has suggested, and the health department in Lenawee County is also requesting that schools stay with their protocols.
they're
And
suggesting. Does
all
that
of
mean
us-
we have to?
all of us are following that recommendation. at this
Everybody?
time.
All the schools.
All of the schools in the county.
Well, the states.
All the public
require it
schools.
too. I mean, these
I
kids,
think they have.
the states requiring, if you're not vaccinated, you gotta wear a mask. So
I'm sorry, what?
if you're not vaccinated, you've gotta wear a mask. Stay inside.
But I think didn't the governor say we got to still wear masks in school? So
Right.
What are they gonna do? Check your ID?
Well, we know that these kids underage can't even get a vaccine.
No.
So we know they aren't vaccinated, so it's pretty simple, so.
They don't
We-
get it.
We haven't made
Well,
any
it's pretty
changes in our
simple, too.
plan for
Well,
masks.
almost never.
So your recommendation is that we're going to update the continuity learning plan, to make the changes in quarantine.
Right.
And then, but per the health department, the Michigan Health Human Services,
Right.
stay with masks.
We have not changed any mask rules.
Mask suggestions. Strong
The-
suggestions.
In our continuity of learning plan, we require it, so it's a rule.
I can guarantee I will not support this next year. At all.
Hopefully we don't have
Any
to.
way, shape, or form.
We're very hopeful that.
I mean, July
things-
1st,
that things
no one has
change.
to wear a mask. So
So
what's going to happen in the next 30 days? It's different from right now.
Kids won't be in school.
recommendations.
Right. Isn't that a
So that's why it
coincidence?
doesn't-
Isn't that a coincidence? Okay.
All right, any other comments? Okay, next on the discussion is the vans.
School vans, this came up as a topic last meeting. Member Brooks reminded us that the vans were at one time passed by the board. And at that time, we found information on 12 passenger vans. I think the financial information for that was disseminated to the board by Nikki. However, in reviewing that process, 12 passenger vans can't be used in a school setting. They have to be 10 passenger vans. So we,
Why is
through January and February of last year, we were gathering information about school vans. And then by March, sports were done. And honestly, the information just kind of slipped past us. Kelly has some more information now about school vans and 10 passenger vans. And of course, now there's almost no
There's no
availability.
vans.
There are very few vehicles of
Well,
any
and we're
sort.
kind of in a budget crisis too, so I don't know that we should move forward
Right.
right away.
Of
Of course, I don't have any vans anyway.
There is the possibility of using our transportation company as a resource for 10 passenger vans. So.
Oh, they have 'em?
Kelly's got more information about that as well.
So yes, Ben Newsom, our director of transportation, provided some information to some options. The first option is the district would purchase its own 10 vehicle, 10-person van. And then they would have a maintenance only contract. I did do some very quick and dirty research. Open market is the dealership vans, 10-person is running around 40 to 45,000 for one van. A maintenance contract approximately would be like $776 annually, and that's assuming that there's 4 maintenance appointments and approximately 2 hours each. The second option is that the district would lease the van from First Student. However, that also made it known that we have no idea when we'd be able to get one available because there's a supply chain issue right now. That would be at approximately $30 a day per van at 180 days, which would cost an annual cost of $5,400. Again, there would be a maintenance requirement for approximately 4 maintenance appointments, 2 hours each, 10% upgrade on any parts. So approximately $776 for that. So an estimated cost of $6,176 annually. There would also be some type of contract agreement on the term. It would probably be somewhere between a 5 to 8 year period that we would be locked into that rate. That's still being negotiated and getting further information. And then option 3 is first student currently has 7 passenger vans available as of July 1st. Again, it would be $30 a day per van, but it would include any maintenance or parts. So again, $5,400 annual for one van. It's not as big a van as we want, but it would be available July 1st.
So my first question, and thank you for that, man. Oh, he's not here anymore. Anyway, my first question on that is, but they wouldn't be customed for us, correct? The other thing we had talked about with the other districts is their vans were all in their colors with their logos and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the wraps. So this would not be that.
So
Okay,
I mean, the wraps come off.
of
However,
course,
but you know, if you have a base color, you get what you get.
right.
Or we
Um,
can put a wrap
and-
on it.
And then the other thing, or initially, when we had started this process, there was some kind of a bidding site that Nikki had talked about.
Right.
Correct. I looked in that as well. It was called, MI Deal. There
Okay,
are currently no 10-passenger vans anywhere on that site available. They do have a few all-passenger vans.
Right.
Now whether they're still available or not, I don't know.
Is this money in our budget already?
We would have to build it into next year.
but if I remember correctly, the bid last time we talked about it was like 32,000. I mean, obviously that was a while ago and supply and demand, whatever, but I think that was kind of the number that they brought back to us was they had 2 vans at 32,000.
That came from where the MID.
Yep,
Right.
And
Those were 12 passenger vans.
right.
And at that time, there were no 10 passenger vans available either.
so I know that Mrs. Moore asked a question about why can't we use 12s, and I did not hear that answer.
Something about insurance, I
Yeah, I
thought.
thought it was something about the insurance. I thought that's what.
Yeah,
Nikki
I
had said.
don't
Right?
know if you have the
Chauffeur.
Oh,
language.
And it actually has to do with the People Transportation Act. It would be, a stipulation that a vehicle other than a school bus with a manufacturer rated seating capacity of 11 or more passengers, including the driver, shall not be used to transport pupils to or from school or school-related events.
Well, there we go.
And that's the, what act?
The People Transportation Act.
How often would, I think we should go back and revisit, because originally we were looking at 12, now we're talking 10. And how often will we actually be able to use that? Because maybe it's just cheaper just to go rent a van for the day than, from Avis or Enterprise or something.
Well, we can- So the option three.
That's
are
a good
we-
idea.
Are we locked into a contract, or we just say, hey, a week from Friday, we need a van under option 3?
We would be locked into it for a 30-day per day for 180 days, but we wouldn't be locked in for greater than a year.
So we do for a yearly contract.
We could negotiate that, yeah.
But I think to Mr. Simpson's point, we were thinking 12 passenger vans, and I think there was a study of the teams that potentially could use that. Option 3 is 7 passenger, which means
Right, that probably puts out a lot of people either that, or you gotta get 2 vans.
Well, and
We
the
were
7
talking
passenger
before.
vans are basically just a Dodge Caravan. And in terms of toting students and their equipment, you certainly wouldn't be able to take a golf team in a Caravan with all the bags. Maybe
Why couldn't you
maybe
use
a
a
cross-country
12-person
team.
van, but then only put 10 people in it? You'd have more room for their,
it's not based on
As
the
it's
people.
mentioned in that,
oh, it's based on how many it can
based
hold.
on how many
Capacity.
seats it's rated for.
So we heard that other school districts are doing this. They were 10 passenger vans.
Correct.
And, yeah, I guess that's I think the question that came from over here is a great question. How often do we expect to use this? How many teams? We went through the last time here, the information provided showed the savings, but this is based on 12. Can we get a similar study based on 10?
I mean, the supply issues should be resolving themselves.
Yeah,
I don't
eventually.
believe that 10 or 12 passenger vans are at the top priority list of auto manufacturers right now. I know they're not, but it should be resolving itself.
We don't
I
need
mean,
till
part of the
September.
problem is the supply
Yes,
chain
that-
issues in the industry. They have shut down commercial vehicle production
Mm-hmm.
to support passenger vehicle production. So by October, September, hopefully the supply will look better. I think some of the pricing, I know it sounds weird because it's smaller, but a 10 passenger is has less of a share of the markets. They're going to be a little bit more expensive than a 12 passenger, so we'll need to look at that. But I think maybe if we wait until the end of the summer and look at it again, I'd like Mrs. Brooks' opinion about how to manage it in the budget if we still, as we talk through in June, want to put something in the budget. But I think the rental thing, caravans to me, you can fit maybe 3 golf bags, maybe 4 bags in the back of a caravan. Are they going to be willing to take out, once you take out the third row seat, you're not going to have a lot of people in that van. So I just feel like it's probably, thank you very much, Kelly, for going and getting the information. But I just don't know that it really, if I remember correctly from the meeting that you guys spoke about it previously, there was a lot of discussion about size of the teams and that sort of thing. And so,
Well, and I mean, we want it to benefit not only athletes, but hopefully we've got a robotics team to think about, those sort of things that could also benefit from it.
There may not be a large amount of times that we take one van, but there would be 2.
Right.
Taking
Right.
20 people in 2 vans would serve several of our teams and activities.
But how does that compare to a bus then, as far as cost?
Well, that's I think what you're asking for is that cost to own breakdown. Now there's the cost for the bus, and then is there a bus available or a
Right.
driver available? And this avoids that issue.
It was more the driver issue, wasn't it?
We had soccer tonight at Adrian, and we didn't have a driver for the bus. So we had to ask Adrian to move the starting time back to 5 o'clock so that we could wait until there was a bus available. This would eliminate those sorts of conversations when a bus isn't available or a driver isn't available, which right now happens frequently.
Right.
That we would not have to say to parents, please transport your kids.
Oh, that's one of the.
Why are there not buses available? Is it because they're still running the elementary routes?
They're on the routes, and then, like I said, it really has to do with the driver.
Wouldn't all districts have that same problem? Why would we schedule something like that early?
Well, sometimes athletic events don't run consistent. Sometimes we'll have 7 teams leaving, and sometimes we'll only have 3. So the nights that we have lots of away trips, sometimes
There's no way to try to
we have to wait
schedule that
for,
differently?
well, we have to wait for the second round of elementary kids to be taken home, and then a bus and a driver becomes available to take an athletic team. Well, sometimes those athletic teams need to leave at 3 o'clock.
Right, but
And
how
if-
do they balance that athletic? I mean, obviously you can't have all your teams going away on the same time. I mean, there must be some thought that goes into balancing that and
Right,
working with other districts.
The schedules are put together somewhat. The non-league schedule is put together by our department, but the league schedule comes out annually, and you usually have a home and away situation with each of the schools.
I was just
put
wondering
out
if there's
by the
any
league.
way to try to coordinate that better or not.
Yeah, it's a big logistical process, and it involves lots of moving parts. 2 10-person vans would be used. I would guess that they would be used in tandem a lot more than they would be used individually.
That's what I was thinking too.
And we may even have to look at it as a first come, first served basis if we do have a lot going on that day, which is unfortunate. But one of the things that had gone out to some parents anyways with athletics was, says TPS offers one-way busing to our athletic events. Athletes will need a ride home from these events, and we're also discussing the idea of eliminating rides altogether. If this happens, we'll need many volunteer drivers to get back and forth to games. And
that's an equity problem.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem for me.
That went out recently?
Yes.
And we've had that, for Saturday events specifically, it's been that way for a while, that it's one-way transportation. And that's what it really has to do with, is availability of the driver and
Yeah, Saturday, it's not the bus, it's getting the driver to drive it, is what you're saying?
right.
But they can get you there, but they can't hang out and wait and get you back?
Right, that was done at a time, and possibly even when Mr. Lewis was the athletic director, that you pay for a bus driver to sit at an event for nine hours, and that's all they're doing is waiting at an event to get over. So to save costs in the athletic department, years ago, it was a one-way transportation only, and then the bus driver would go home and kids had to find their own way home.
I don't ever remember that on any sport Jake ever played.
It happened when my kids went to school. On weekends a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Saturdays.
Yeah.
Track
Wrestling,
invitationals and
volleyball.
wrestling.
Right. Okay.
Volleyball
Baseball
and
tournaments,
things like
softball
that on the
tournaments, most of
weekends.
the parents go anyway, so,
Right.
and you don't know when the thing's gonna end.
That was a long time
So where are
ago.
we at
I
on
can't
this? What are
remember
we
even.
asking them to do, Kelly to do?
I think we need to consider tabling first the action item, right?
Yeah. Why was it on both anyway? Discussion and action.
What was discussed at the last meeting was brought up to our attention. We were supposed to get.
Oh, okay. It was under discussion at the last meeting?
Yeah, it was on as an additional
added it.
item.
But I think what we're asking Kelly to do, right, is to do the same sort of analysis, but with 10 passenger.
Yeah, we need to know, and I'm sorry to put this on you, Kelly, but obviously there'll be those that can assist you with it. We need to know who it's going to benefit and how. Like I said, it's not just athletics. Of course, that's a big part of it, but hopefully there's other
And lots
clubs,
of other teams.
right,
Yeah.
that could benefit from it. I mean, we have a lot of clubs and events with our district that should be able to benefit from something like that. So we need to know that.
And I agree with Mrs. Brooks about the wrap. So let's make sure that whatever study we do of cost includes wrapping it. I mean, if we're the #1 district in Lenawee County.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to show off.
I have
Yeah,
every
show
other
our
district
pride.
in the county with their wrap.
Not show off. Show
Well,
our
it,
pride.
it gives
Well, yeah.
everyone pride in the district. right?
Exactly.
So-
Exactly.
Well, it's easier to find your bus too. What bus is it?
That's true.
No kidding.
Well, if you're the only one that's got the yellow school bus, you're going to find that too.
If they all say first student on them, you're.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, so I guess we need a motion to table this.
Yeah, I hereby move to table the discussion of the district bans until a study of additional ban options.
Support.
We move to table the action on the vans. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. All right, next, the cabinets for Herrick Park.
As it was mentioned in the budget breakdown, we had a question about that. These are companies locally who will work to make the cabinets match as closely as possible to what's in the rest of that classroom and the rest of the building. And Tom has some more detail on that. Mr. Hawkins?
So, like I said, these are cabinets that were, that are at Herrick Park, that were in Herrick Park's classroom. And these cabinets were removed years ago during the initial reorg. And so right now, what the teachers are dealing with is they have no cabinets and no shelves and no sinks for their kids to wash their hands. So this would be at something like a bare minimum for something us to bring them back up to a normal classroom. So each person got to walk through. We walked each contractor through, and they got to take all their measurements and talk to the teacher and got their input as to what's needed for the classroom. So if there's any questions, it'd be good to get this sooner than later. Just like anything right now, the material is hard to get, so the lead time on the cabinets is pretty far out. So the longer we wait, the longer we push this possibly into the school year without having any storage or shelves for their classrooms. Also, the cost of material, it sounds like that's going to be going up due to some shortages of material as well. So when we can get that approved, the sooner the better, just so that we can avoid any problems trying to get these in before school or avoid any cost increases.
Which is the reasoning for having it as an action item tonight. Our next meeting's not for 3 weeks. And all the lead time we can get is going to help make sure that that's done come August 30th.
Right. Last time I heard it was close to 8 weeks, so sooner the better.
One proposal says it'll be 9 to 10 weeks before they can get it in, so yeah.
So one of the questions I have, I know that Kelly's talked up in her answers, talked about integrity construction, but I'm, I guess, a little concerned about the lack of detail in their proposal. I mean, is there a specification that was, RFP was generated that said we want, as an example, sinks and faucets? Because certainly in the Victory Builders, it mentions that specifically. In the integrity construction pros, it does not. It just says install cabinets.
Right.
I
Yes.
had the exact same thought on that one, Tony.
Yep. It's the same thing. It's the same exact materials and the same setups. They walked it down with the teachers as to what they need, and the teachers went over the designs. And
But is there a document that, I mean, that says this is exactly what we bid to? I mean, I'm just concerned that there's not a lot of detail here.
right, I can get their design and have that sent over, and that you can see it. But that went off of their. So these are all obviously these are all custom built. So they went out each one and sort of kind of answering your question as far as going to cabinet makers and seeing about them. Went to the contractor and let them go out to their cabinets. So they had their designer design the cabinets with the teachers involved in that. So I can have them send that, but we didn't have like a set spec on that.
Because this was different than an RFP. This was not, here's the specs, what's your bid? We had these people come in, we invited them to come in because the assumption was that the bid would be below the threshold for an RFP. So these vendors came in and as Mr. Hawkins said, walked through and had conversations with the teachers about what they would need in the space. And he's saying that the detail may not be on paper, but the understanding is that it's sinks, faucet, and
Yeah,
installation.
but they need to put it in
Absolutely.
writing.
Yeah, this is all, and we can get that. That's
Yeah, as long as you
For
get
the
that in
difference,
writing.
I would be fine with going to Victory myself.
Sure.
But I have the opposite concern that Victory may have detailed out their steps, but not the cost for each step. So,
To me, it's just a lot of money for some cabinets. I mean, this is a whole new kitchen. You know, if you want to redo your kitchen, this is what you'd be paying. So, I'm just wondering, what do we get? You know, how big are the cabinets? What are we getting? I have no idea what we're getting here. So, that's $25,000. So it's a lot of money.
Mhm.
I mean, seriously, you could redo your kitchen for $25,000 with new cabinets and everything. So.
Tom, did they sign the statement of work when they did the RFP? Did they sign the statement of work? Did you have a statement of work?
no.
Another question I have is, we recommended integrity. Why is that?
Well, they're the lowest cost. Integrity's done some work for us before, and I know that their work is good. Also, one of the things that I like about Integrity is that the design was by a local designer. That she lives here, works here, gets kids in the district, and then they went and they sourced our material, and the cabinets are from Michigan. So everything that we could keep local is local, and also keeping it as the lowest bid is obviously.
So you would say that you like their integrity?
Yes.
Well, I gotta say, if Tom likes them, that's good enough for me.
I mean, if for some reason you're asked tonight to go back and do additional work, when would this work be able to be completed, knowing that kids are coming in August 30th? Would it be finished by the first day of school?
I would have to talk to them about the availability. I mean, some of these were obviously done with the availability of cabinets at the time. So I would call Integrity tomorrow.
Are they steel?
They're wood. It's maple.
Yeah.
So you have a drawing from integrity. You have the drawing?
I don't have the drawing. They have it, but I can get it.
I mean, I don't need to see it. I just need to know that you are going to make sure that what they're putting is everything we need.
Absolutely.
And that they say, for this drawing, this is what we're.
Right. Right.
It's
Absolutely.
just,
For me, the teacher's involvement was more important as far as the design
I get
and
it,
setup, because I don't ever want to claim to be a teacher or and know what they need. And so it was more their involvement in their discussion with the designer.
yeah, I just want to make sure they're getting what they think they're getting.
And
Yes,
It includes
they're
a
gonna
plumbing hookup and everything too?
right.
So there was already water right there?
We have water. And so when all this was taken out, the only thing that's plumbing underneath, you just need to connect it to the sinks.
Okay, so, all right, good.
That would all.
And it looks like 2 days from now, this bid expires with the prices. It was priced out on the 25th of March. Expiration date for prices is the 26th. I can't imagine it's gone down. It's probably only gone up. We're lucky it stays the same.
Right. Yeah, I've heard local construction supplies are expected in June to go up 12%.
Those
Those that are
that was my
imported are
understanding. Is in
5%.
June, everything was going to start going up. So
Yep.
it was kind of.
I saw
So
lockers.
this is who you
so
recommend, Tom?
Even-
I can verify it's
100%.
nuts.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
nuts.
So what do we want to do as a board? Do we want to ask Tom to go back and get the drawing and confirm it, or?
No, I don't, I'm
I
okay.
mean,
If
I'm
he's
just asking-
confident they,
Yeah, I just have to write the motion. That's why.
okay.
I mean, personally, I'm comfortable approving that with the stipulation that he gets the drawing and reviews it. I mean, I don't know.
He's
The drawing's
already done that.
You've done that?
He's got the drawing, so
He said he
obviously.
doesn't have it.
He doesn't have
No,
it.
I don't have drawings. The
Oh, I
teacher
thought
saw the
you- did
drawings.
you
They
see
worked
a
with the
drawing?
Teachers. I had the designer work with the teacher
Okay,
and to make sure that they had it.
so you haven't seen it?
No.
Okay,
But he's worked with them before and trusts them, and that
Yeah.
counts for a lot. for
Right.
me,
Yeah,
so.
they're a good group.
All right, well, if I'm the only one that wants him to see the drawings, then I'll.
well,
I
I'd
can
like
see
him
him.
to see him
I'll,
too.
I'll look at them for sure.
Yeah, he'll look.
I think that's part of his due diligence, Tony.
What's that?
I'll definitely look at those.
I said, I think that's part of his due diligence.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's just a real lack of detail here, that's all.
Small companies are like that.
Yeah?
Yep, they
When I
are.
had a new kitchen put in, I had a lot more detail than this, so. All right.
Are we gonna try and act on this?
Yep.
Okay,
Thanks, Tom.
'cause otherwise we probably get a
Thank you,
price
Tom.
increase to boot.
No, I think.
Yeah, I think we need to
Yeah,
act,
we don't need a 12% price, right?
or we'll never get them. I mean, we still
Right.
might not get them by the time school
Right.
starts with
We'll be moving to
delays.
cardboard.
Yeah.
All right, all right, very good.
Logic lead the way, Becky.
So we'll keep moving here, we'll keep moving here. Let's go to the action items.
Okay.
All right.
First one.
First is the LISD election and board resolution.
I hereby, take this. I hereby move to appoint President Rebataro as TPS's representative to serve on the 2021 electoral body responsible for electing members to the Lenawee ISD Board of Education, and Vice President Davis as alternate representative in the event the designated representative is unable to attend the election. The board directs its representative to cast the board's vote for the following candidates: Carrie A. Dillon and James Hartley to the full-term seats, and Catherine M. Moore to the partial term seat.
Support.
Been moved and seconded to vote for the Dillon and Hartley to the 6-year seats, and Catherine Moore to 2-year. We'll have a roll call vote. Trustee Brooks,
Aye.
Trustee Lewis,
Aye.
Trustee Moore,
Aye.
Trustee Simpson,
Aye.
Trustee Davis,
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes.
Okay, for the LISD 2021 to 2022 budget, I hereby move to approve the LISD 2021 to 2022 budget as presented, and further direct administration to file the resolution of support with the LISD on behalf of Tecumseh Public Schools.
Support.
Been moved and seconded to support the LISD budget. Any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Trustee Davis,
Aye.
Trustee Simpson,
Aye.
Trustee Moore,
Aye.
Trustee Lewis,
Aye.
Trustee Brooks.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes.
Regarding the Aramark Food Service contract renewal and extension, I hereby move to approve the Aramark Food Service contract extension for the 2021-2022 school year, which is year 2 of the 5-year contract. and direct administration to file the paperwork with the Michigan Department of Education Food Service Division as required by law.
Support.
Been moved and seconded to enter a contract with the Food Service Corporation. Mark, any discussion? Roll call vote. Trustee Lewis,
Aye.
trustee Moore,
Aye.
trustee Simpson,
Aye.
trustee Davis,
Aye.
trustee Brooks.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion's approved.
Regarding the Tecumseh Administrators Association contract, I hereby move to approve the Tecumseh Administrators Association TAA contract as presented for a 2-year contract expiring as of June 30th, 2022.
Or
Been moved and seconded to support the TAA contract. Any discussion? A roll call vote. Trustee Simpson,
aye.
trustee Moore,
Aye.
trustee Lewis,
Aye.
trustee Brooks.
Aye.
Trustee Davis.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion is approved.
Regarding the extended continuity of learning plan with two-way communication reporting, I hereby move to approve continuation of the district's extended continuity of learning plan for the month of May 2021 as presented, which was originally approved by the Board of Education in September 2020, and further acknowledge the district's pupil account process, which provides for two-way communication with students. Additionally, the TPS Board of Education confirms the following instructional delivery models. 1, face-to-face. 2, distance learning, and 3, virtual learning. The board also directs administration to post and submit said plan as required by MDE.
Support.
Been moved and seconded to support the extended continuing learning plan. Any discussion? A roll call vote. Trustee Simpson,
Aye.
trustee Davis,
Aye.
trustee Brooks.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis,
Aye.
trustee Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes.
We move to table the school vans. So regarding the award bid and select vendor for cabinet work at Herrick Park, I hereby move to award the bid to Integrity Construction of Tecumseh, Michigan in the amount of $24,390.74 for the cabinet work at Herrick Park Intermediate School. Further, administration is directed to notify all bidders of the board's action in this matter.
Support.
Been moved and seconded to accept the bid for cabinet work Herrick Park from Integrity Builders. Any further discussion? Okay, we have a roll call vote. Trustee Brooks.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Moore.
Aye.
Trustee Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Davis.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries.
Regarding setting the date for the board budget hearing, I hereby move to set Monday, June 28th, 2021 at 6 p.m. as the date and time for the 2021-2022 budget hearing, with the meeting to be held at the Tecumseh High School Media Center. Further, administration is directed to serve notice to the public of this hearing.
Support.
It's been moved and seconded to set the date for the budget hearing for June 28th, 2021. Any discussion on this item? Okay, we have a roll call vote. Trustee Davis.
Aye.
Trustee Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Moore.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Brooks.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries.
Before we vote on the consent agenda,
Yeah.
we have one more motion regarding the concrete work at the bus garage. I hereby move to repost the RFP for concrete work at bus garage.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to repost the RFP for the concrete work at the bus garage. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Post same sign. Motion carries. We'll repost that RFP. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Regarding the consent agenda, I hereby move to approve the consent agenda, which includes the following items: minutes from the regular board meeting of May 10th, 2021, and April monthly check register.
Support.
Been moved and second to support the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Consent agenda is passed. All right. Very good. Thank you, everyone. Superintendent's report.
Okay, we're coming up on 2 hours, so I'll be brief, but please ask questions if you need more information. We will have our special board meeting on June 3rd at 6 PM. At that meeting, we will interview candidates for the open board position, and we will also have conversation about costs related to playground equipment and details about the budget. Very happy tonight to introduce who will be our newest district administrator. Middle school assistant principal will be filled by Chris Hoig. Chris is here tonight. Chris is, how long you been teaching here, Chris?
2002.
All right, so going on 20 years. Super individual, very happy to have him a part of the team. He's been in and around the middle school for all or most of his career. So, just has great ideas on putting the middle school back together, but also thinking forward on how we can improve on things we've done in the past. So welcome, Chris.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Chris.
The TEA contract negotiations are nearing an end. We would really like to be able to present the contract not only to the board for review, but also for the association members to review before they leave for the summer. They have to review it for 10 days before they can ratify. So our goal is to have it in everybody's hands no later than next Monday. Just making sure that we all agree on the language options that we tentatively agreed to previously. We have a salary schedule. We have a lot of detail in what's called the Schedule B. So that would be coaching and curriculum responsibilities and all the things that are paid to individuals who do extra work outside of the contract. So we wanted to make sure that we got all those details correct. And we have a draft calendar that Terry has out to them for their approval. So a lot of work has gone into it, but we're very close to being able to present all that information. And then quarterly report on superintendent's goals coming up before the next meeting on June 14th. I'll have another report at basically the halfway point in the school year, calendar year. On those, this year I had 7 goals set, and we're checking some of those items off. Some things we're in the middle of, but you'll get the update on those. And then just a reminder that the superintendent evaluation for the 2020 year will be on January 28th at the regular board meeting.
June
28th.
What did I say?
January.
Yeah, J word. June 28th.
We're actually paying attention.
I do have a question to back up just to the TEA contracts. We had some inequities in wages and other issues that, and I know now it's probably not a great time with budget problems and all that, but I would like to know that we are looking at all that, no matter what the position, whether it's an assistant or a principal or a administrator or anyone, that wages need to be adjusted, whether it be their inequities within our own system, with people with the same experience, or whether our people aren't making as much as, say, what somebody at another school would make, or the average, or, so we can maintain the best teachers and make sure that, that things are, that people know we want everything to be fair for everyone.
Right. I actually was very happy with the TEA proposal on their wage scale because it's a very detailed scale. It goes all the way out to year 30. But it also starts at a nice level of 39,000 as opposed to 36 where we are right now. So
Right, good.
I feel like the wage scale that they've proposed and that Kelly and I have been through to make sure that it isn't out of line with what we're already doing in terms of the wage-based contracts and the merit pay increases. It's very similar to the sorts of increases.
Right.
So we can afford it, and it's fair, and it covers many of the things that you're talking about.
But there might, there could be other inequities.
There
guess
could be, and
And I just
you
want
know,
to make sure we look at all those.
we have been talking about that with the
I
TEA.
mean, raises for certain people or
Right.
that missed one because of a freeze or what, whatever.
Right.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Any other questions, comments on Rick's report? All right, we'll keep moving along then. We have items scheduled for next agenda. We have some good news. It seems kind of anticlimactic. We'll have a award by one of our members. I guess we're showing our hand a little bit about some of the good news next time for Member Brooks. We will have discussion on, review the bids for the energy conservation and operation of my Eisenwork improvement project. We'll have a discussion on reorganization, update of the building names, 2020, 2021 final budget review, 2021, 22 budget review update. I guess we'll probably also have them put on the concrete as well. We've already added one for next time. And then we'll have action items, swearing in office of the new board member. And then we'll also work a bit for concrete at that as well. So
I guess question for Kelly. How long do you think the van study will take?
I'll just have to get with the athletics department and get some numbers and, team sizes and things of that nature. It's more an issue of, right now there's not 10 passenger vans available. Hopefully they will come, so we can look at it, but things might change depending on that availability.
right, and then please get with the other organizations as well. I don't know, robotics club, whoever else it might be. I'm sure the building principals could help with some of that. So make sure we're covering all those bases. Okay. Now we're going to have time for the public comment. Please remember that we're going to limit all public comment to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment? All right. If there's no public, I'll accept the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Board
Board member.
Oh, sorry.
Don't forget about us, Tony.
Sorry. Sorry, my apologies. Now we'll have board member comments or discussions, because I have some. Of course
No,
you
you don't, Tony.
You asked for
Well, in
it.
that
There
case,
you
we'll
go.
make a motion. Just really looking forward to graduation, and I know it's been a tough year for these seniors, but ready to get them out there and get those diplomas in their hands, and I'm just really excited, looking forward to that, so.
So
Sounded
does
like-
the tradition continue that Mr. Simpson might get to hand out a very special diploma?
Yes.
Okay, good.
There's-
Of what?
He gets to hand out a diploma for his child.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's what you were asking,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
we got an email on that.
Yep, and we
Yeah,
extend that
we've always
offer
done that,
to
yeah.
staff members as well.
Yeah.
And, they're gathering information
I
through
was gonna do it
Anna.
privately, but I got one to talk to you about too. so.
Well, I'd also like to say the parents and the staff who put on prom over the weekend. And I think the senior trip the weekend before, I think it was really good for these, I'm not even calling them kids because they're not kids anymore, these young adults, to be able to experience something
A
normal.
little normal, yeah.
Too bad they had to go to Ohio for it, but they got to experience it. And so I want to thank everybody that put that together. I don't know all the parents that put it together, but I just want to thank you from one parent to another parent. So thank you.
I'd like to just have a silent round of applause for all the teachers and students and parents that have had to endure this year. We're right in the home stretch now, and it seems like right now you can't keep track with all the changes that are coming with COVID protocol right now because there's a new one every day or every week projected, but we don't tell anybody what it's going to be. But to put up with everything they put up with this year, been a tough go, and it's been trying for a lot of people, but they've stuck with it, and we made the best we can out of it, and I really appreciate that.
I was just going to congratulate Mr. Hoig again. The only negative I see is we were looking forward to you having Molly in 6th grade. But I guess you will. So there you go. But congratulations. And this is more of a parent comment, but Mr. Hoig has worked closely with our daughter Kaylee, and she's really excelled this year. So he's an excellent addition to the administration.
Couple comments from me. This afternoon, I watched the senior award presentation. Mr. Niles was the MC of that. I was very impressed, obviously. Congratulations to all those recipients. And thanks also to all the people who donated money for those scholarships. It's really, really a great thing. It's been a while since since my son graduated, those years that I've sat in on one of those. But a lot of outstanding students received a lot of great awards from the community.
I'll say Joan Wade, who is the guidance office secretary, phenomenal job at putting all of that together. I showed up and looked handsome.
Well, okay.
As always.
Barely.
Don't underestimate
Somebody's
that.
got to do it.
She made that night everything.
It really went well, but that's great. But I just am really impressed with the community and all the awards. So that's great. I also took some time this afternoon. I guess I had some time now that the beans are planted to review all the 2D art exhibits. There was a online art exhibit. I am just blown away by those students. There was one of the paintings was a young girl with a book on her head. I mean, it's a pencil. I mean, I really had to look several times to think if that was a photograph. It's really incredible. Congratulations to all those students. And again, thanks to the staff that works with those kids and puts that together. That was just outstanding. Always impressed. And then lastly, I also saw the presentation that the LASD did that showed all the students and where they're going. And we're sending kids to a lot of places. I mean, that's really impressive list of where these kids are going out and about. And that was really well done by the LSD. And I actually went and looked at the ones from Britain and Addison. And I don't know if I saw Adrian, but I saw a lot of them. It was really nice. And good luck to all those students and all the places you will travel. That's for sure. That's all I have. Anybody else?
Just one last thing that I wanted to mention. I talked to Heather Perez this afternoon. The total income from the March Mingle was just over $60,000. So thank you to everyone who attended or bought tickets, participated in the auctions and so on. Tim, I know your place hosted. CLC does a lot of things, and they lost that fundraiser last year and really needed a good turnout. And again, Tecumseh responded, so that was a nice outcome.
Oh, one other thing. So graduation, now that there's no limits on outside.
June 1, we'll make an announcement because that isn't the case yet.
Okay.
June 1 is when that takes effect. We're, Linwood Health Department could make something different. The MDHS could make something different because the schools all are under them. So June 1, we'll make an announcement.
Yeah, there's already some. I know BD graduated this weekend. I think Addison already graduated this weekend as well. But we'll look forward to that announcement. All right. Can I do it now?
Yes.
Now I'll accept the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
I support that.
It's been moved and supported to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.